What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another movie review. If you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. Finally, I'm able to talk about this movie. It's been a year and a half. I've been waiting for this movie to come out. I just saw it. Guys, today we are talking about A Quiet Place Part 2. Directed once again by John Krasinski, and it stars Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmons, Noah Jupe, Killian Murphy, a new addition to the cast, as well as Jaimon Hunsu. Following the events at home, the Abbott family now face the terrors of the outside world, forced to venture into the unknown. They realize the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats lurking beyond the sandpath. Now, you guys know how much I love the first Quiet Place and how much I was excited going into A Quiet Place Part 2. I was literally days away from seeing this film with my buddies at Ace Comic-Con in Boston, but then of course we got a pandemic. Who could predict that? John Krasinski, well known for playing Jim from The Office, directed a horror film, and that was one of my favorite horror films that came out in the past decade. The way it was directed, acted, shot, and just the suspense. John Krasinski knocked it out of the park with the first Quiet Place film. Very rarely nowadays we get fantastic horror sequels like Aliens, Evil Dead 2, the second films in their franchises that are just as good as the first one. A Quiet Place Part 2 is one of the best horror sequels I've seen. It is just as good as the first one. It's incredibly suspenseful, well acted, well directed, all across the board. It's totally surprised me by how this film went. What's different about A Quiet Place 2 is that we actually explore the outside world, like the synopsis says. We're stepping away from the farm. If you haven't seen the first Quiet Place film, spoilers, John Krasinski's character, the father, sacrifices his own life to save his own children. And so now they're stepping away from the farm. They're going into the outside world. And we get to see the world. The landscapes, the shots, it looks incredible. And it's just totally impressive to see John Krasinski fully behind the director's chair. Because the way he directed this movie just had a lot more time to really make his vision totally shine. In the first Quiet Place, he played a character, and in here, he's able to really commit himself as a director. And might I just say, the opening 10 minutes of A Quiet Place Part 2 is one of the best horror movie openings I've seen in a while. Emily Blunt's fantastic once again. She was incredible in the first installment, and in here, she's great. She's playing more of that different role because, she was pregnant in the first Quiet Place. And now she has a newborn child and so many kids to deal with. She's the mom and she's dealing with her husband's death. But this time being the tour de force mom, and Emily Blunt is great in here. But really the show stealers in here are our children, Millicent Simmons and Noah Jupe. I'm mainly going to talk about Millicent Simmons, who really got some good moments in the first Quiet Place. She had that rift with her father. But this time, she really takes the center stage in the sequel. Of course, she's deaf in the film, and we get to see a lot of sequences like that. I love how it was directed. The sound, it reminded me of Sound of Metal with Riz Ahmed. I loved seeing Millicent Simmons in here come to her own and really have more moments to shine in this sequel. And we also got Killian Murphy, who's well known for being in Christopher Nolan's films, but in here, he was in this film a lot more than I was expecting. Killian Murphy is also a scene stealer in here. I was kind of worried going in he was just going to be this kind of heartless person in here, very arrogant from the trailers. But in here, he has this good persona about him. He's a good dude and just wants to do right. And his action in here is actually really great. And he has a lot of great moments with Millicent Simmons in here. I just really love Killian Murphy. I think he's a very underrated actor. This film is tension-filled from start to finish. The creatures in here, they are on their A game. There is not one moment to breathe in this sequel. Our characters are constantly running on the foot. New location, new location. The threat is coming from out of nowhere. The danger is up to 100%. Our creatures were terrifying, and in the first Quiet Place, we didn't see enough of them. We get to see a lot of them in here. The danger, the threat is always lurking from behind you, in front of you. The score, it's pretty much the same score as the first Quiet Place. I love the theme that goes with this movie. It is sad, it's intense and creepy. There's some new songs in here, which was very thrilling. It was really difficult for me to try to find actual criticisms and flaws with this film. There are little issues, nitpicks, I guess I could say. Sometimes John Krasinski doesn't have the best way to end his films, just like the first Quiet Place. And in here, I could see people having an issue with the way the second film ends, because it's kind of similar to the first. I would say more of my little nitpick would be involvement from other characters we saw, like Jaimon Hounsou, his storyline. I wanted more from him. I just love Jaimon Hounsou. I just think he's a very underrated actor as well, and wanted to see more from him, as well as dive into more character moments, like with Killian Murphy, Millicent Simmons, Emily Blunt, Noah Jupe especially. He kind of gets sidelined in these films. Wanted more from him. Before I give you guys my final overall thoughts on A Quiet Place Part 2, if this is your guys' first time checking out the channel and you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on this movie, definitely give it a thumbs up and consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews on this channel every single week, as well as tons of ranking videos and talk movies on the occasion. If you love movies, want to join this awesome community, hit the like and subscribe button, and let's talk about movies. Go see A Quiet Place Part 2 in the biggest theater, biggest sound system possible. This is just as good as the first film, guys. John Krasinski nailed it once again. It is suspenseful, one of the best horror sequels I've seen personally. I was blown away with this film. I cannot wait to witness it again and again and again. Show it to my brother, mother. On my rating scale, A Quiet Place Part 2 definitely gets an A+. There you have it, guys. That was my thoughts on A Quiet Place Part 2. What did you guys think of A Quiet Place Part 2? Did you absolutely love it like me? Did you think it was okay, disagree with me, or did you hate this film? Thank you guys so much for watching this review, guys. Seriously, you mean the world to me. All my social media links are in the description below.